with FNN Sports Takes with me, Kasey Hudson. Welcome to my new home office, as this is our new norm. As you guys all know, all of us at FNN are hoping that you guys are staying safe and sane, and we hope that you continue to just, do everything that you can so that we can get back to normality as soon as possible. As for our sports updates, there is still plenty going on in the sports world, even though we cannot be at games with each other, enjoying the atmosphere and the energy. So as we know, March 10th through the 12th, the sports world came to a complete halt with their seasons just paused their season, or they indefinitely suspended all games. We know the XFL completely canceled the rest of the season. Leagues like the MLB and MLS were actually just getting started. The home opener would have been March 26th for the MLB, and a lot of those guys were super disappointed. Whereas the NHL and NBA come into terms, it was a very significant time during their season. They actually would have been on the cusp of preparing for playoffs. Within the last 24 hours, the NBA has reported a potential 25-day return to basketball plan. Once they get clearance, League Commissioner Adam Silver said the league won't make any decisions until May, but the 25-day return plan would consist of an 11-day series of individuals using social distancing, of course, practicing, getting back in the realm of everything. And then after that, they would go and play 5-on-5 and do like a 14-day training camp. It's unlikely for the league to be able to resume their regular season at all. So it's more than likely coming together and putting strategy sessions in play to see the most sensible way to go about heading into playoffs. Unfortunately, with this being said, and the speed that it'll all have to happen at, having an audience come and watch the games is more than unlikely, depending on where we are with the COVID-19 crisis. But any updates we get, we'll definitely let you guys know. It is April 13th as of today, so we should be getting a lot of updates and feedback from teams, commissioners of what the seasons are going to look like if they can resume. So we will give you all those announcements and updates as we hear them on our end. On an international spread, Champions League and Europa games were also suspended as well, but in the midst of these suspensions, their transfer market is going to open up coming close to the summertime, and there are some big names being tossed around in these transfer rumors. Names like Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are amongst the biggest names being talked about. They're saying that Messi could go to Inter Milan and Ronaldo could head back to Real Madrid. There doesn't seem to be much concrete information behind Messi to Inter Milan. It's just the fact that if he becomes available, what club wouldn't want Messi? And they would be one of the top clubs amongst bidders to try to snatch him up, is the most conversation that we've heard in regards to that. As for Ronaldo, his club has actually taken a massive financial hit during COVID-19. Their players had to take wage cuts over the next 4 months, and Ronaldo is paid 4 times more than any other player in that club. So it would be a financial relief as well as cost efficient to actually send him back to Real Madrid. So let us know if you would want to see Cristiano Ronaldo head back to Real Madrid. He had some teammates kind of speak on the fact that he's left that window open just enough back at Real Madrid. He still has plenty of friendships there on very, very good notes, and they said that he could return there, happily and enjoy his time there, and his family would probably love being back at Real Madrid. So let us know your thoughts if you want to see Ronaldo back in a Real Madrid jersey. Now, heading back to the States, you guys have seen us in Jacksonville, you guys have seen us in Miami, but I know you guys have definitely predominantly seen us covering the Tampa Bay Bucks, and they just gained a slew of new fans after signing 6-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady. That's right, he is the new QB1 for the Bucks, and he actually did an intro press conference call a couple weeks ago that we had the pleasure of being on, and Brady just expressed his enthusiasm for joining the Bucks and getting started on learning a new system, something he hasn't had to do in 2 decades. So he definitely honed in on the fact that this is going to be new for him, something he hasn't had to do in a while, but he mentioned that he is a logistics guy. So his focus right now is diving into that playbook and learning as much as possible. He also mentioned that he's going to be relying on his new offensive weapons to get him up to speed so that he can learn as much as he can and then figure out how and what they're going to do when it comes to OTAs. We don't know what OTAs are going to look like with the COVID stuff taking place. He said that, if he can, he would go to one-on-one sessions with them or do small groups. But the biggest thing that he wants to focus on is building that chemistry and learning that playbook. Coach Arians was also on the call, and Coach Arians mentioned the fact that his largest appeal to Brady actually wasn't the fact that he's a super skilled quarterback. It was the fact that he is a leader off the field. It's the guy that confident he is in the locker room and the kind of teammate that he is to the guys around him. He said that was the most appealing thing about Tom Brady. A little extra insight on that as well is that I know a lot of us during the season had questions about, Winston's future with the Bucs, and we saw the respect and the dynamic between Winston and Coach Arians on the sidelines, but it turns out that when free agency came about, that they weren't looking or planning to keep Winston at all, not on a personal level, but just he was no longer a fit for the team. And Coach Arians also mentioned on the call that the minute they heard that Tom Brady was potentially available, that was their priority, was to snag him. So to answer all those questions that all of us had going on during the season, they had no intentions of keeping Winston. They were looking to move forward and start really molding this new system. It's definitely safe to say that a lot of us are looking forward to the 2020 NFL season, but we are 10 days away from the NFL virtual draft. This is still a very exciting time for NFL prospects. This is still very life-changing for them. It will be different because usually they get drafted, they go to their new teams, they start jumping into their systems, learning those playbooks, and, building those relationships. And it's going to look a lot different this year because they're not going to really be able to go there and gather together. They're going to have to continue doing things very virtually. So Zoom's going to be these new guys' best friends. So learning and seeing how these guys really pick up on playbooks and their intellect is going to be amazing once this 2020 season hits off, because this is going to be very different. When it comes to the Bucs and the draft, we actually got some insight on their wants and needs. We got to hop on a call with GM Jason Light, and he gave us some insight on draft preparation and thoughts. Now, the GM is your point during the draft. He is the guy making all the calls and calling all the shots, but all staff will be on call, and they will have IT outside of their residencies, making sure that everything hits off smoothly. Jason said that he is not concerned about having any kind of technical issues, that they have actually practiced most scenarios, and he has a lot of faith in their IT department to hit this off very smoothly. So we will see what takes place when the NFL draft kicks off in 10 days. As for where the Bucs are looking and what they're looking to do, we know that the Bucs need an O-line, so that'll be their primary focus when the draft takes off. They have the 14th pick in the first round. Two potential top prospects that have actually been kicked around name-wise is Mekhi Becton and Andrew Thomas. Those are two of the top O-linemen coming out in this draft, and we know that in order to maximize the skill set of our new starting QB, Tom Brady, we're going to have to secure him. Brady's going to enter the season at age 43, so we need to keep him on his feet in a secure pocket rather than on the ground if we are going to utilize him to the best potential that we need. And why have Tom Brady and have him on the ground? We need his arm. Joining the excitement of Tom Brady coming to Tampa Bay, our Lightning players have expressed that they are happy to have such a big name come to Tampa sports and that they will be in the stands supporting. Steven Stamkos actually said that he is a huge NFL fan. Victor Hedman said that he's a Tom Brady fan regardless, so he can't wait to be in the stands supporting him, rocking the jersey. Coach Cooper, in a recent interview, said that he has told the guys, your bodies are your weapons. So in these unforeseen times, they still have to take the best care of themselves. That's the biggest advice he can give his guys. He also mentioned the fact that he's still very old school. So he's not sitting there hopping on Zoom with all the players. He's just shooting them a text, catching up on a quick phone call, and keeping things very simple. There's only so much you could do for right now. So his biggest advice was for his players to make sure that they're still taking absolute care of their bodies. Coach also mentioned that there will definitely have to be a mini training camp for them to ease their way back into the season. They'll be going from minimal activity and, this weird pause in the middle of, the peak of your season. And then they're going to be jumping into playoff mode, which is very high intensity and high speed. So he doesn't want to see injuries take place because this, unfortunate time with COVID has actually given a lot of players an upper hand. We lost Steven Stamkos about 3 or 4 games before the COVID situation took place to an injury that was going to put him out for 6 weeks. McDonough was injured. Rutta was injured. So these guys are actually going to catch a little bit of a break here and be able to come back, healed and ready to go. But the last thing you want to do is get these guys back and then lose them because of the intensity and the pace that they have to restart a season at. So Coach said that they're just playing it by ear. They're keeping in touch. They're keeping their focus on staying, in their best potential bodies and seeing what they're capable of doing. But of course, all of us are just ready for sports to come back to us, whether we can be in the stands or not. We're just ready to have these games, these atmospheres, and these players are ready to get back to their season. So hopefully this will all come to an end very soon. We also want to say that we are super proud of the many Tampa Bay athletes, new and old, who have done so much during these tough times of COVID-19 to give back. We appreciate our athletes for being heroes in the community and amazing role models in the Tampa Bay area. Just remember, guys, that although we are apart, we are all in this together. So continue to stay strong, stay smart, and we will be back with more updates on Wednesday.